In this first video of the electrical for gas section, we're going to talk about some safety and hazard prevention. We do this at the start of every course just to keep people aware of safety things that can happen in the shop and in the field. So electrical shock is one of the biggest issues we have in the HVAC industry. Current is the killing factor in electrical shock. Currents between 100 and 200 milliamps generally cause the heart to fibrillate. A 110 volt power circuit will generally cause between 100 and 200 milliamps flowing through the bodies of most people. Therefore, we do have what's called lockout tagout procedures. Whenever a piece of equipment is being worked on, it should be disconnected from the power source and locked. The person working on the equipment should carry the only key to prevent accidental activation. You also want to make sure as much as possible you do not work alone. If you must test a live circuit, have someone with you ready to turn off the power, call for help, or give CPR. Now, the reality is in most HVAC-related jobs, you will not be working with somebody else. You will be on a roof by yourself or in a basement by yourself working on equipment. Be very, very aware of your surroundings. Never go on a roof without some means to communicate back to your dispatcher or your managers. And always check the equipment with a meter before you touch it. Learn first aid. Okay, anyone working on electrical equipment should take the time to learn CPR and first aid. It may not be just your life you're saving, it may be somebody else's. Electrical burns are a big cause of injury in the field. Do not wear rings or jewelry when working on electrical circuits. Never use screwdrivers or other conductive tools in electrical panel when the power is on. Now, you will not actually be working in the breaker panels, but it still goes in the equipment. Don't use screwdrivers and conductive tools when the power's on. Portable electric tools, like portable drills and stuff like that, the electrical tools constructed with a metal frame should have a safety ground wire in the power cord. Should always be 3-prong adapters. When using an adapter for a 2-prong reciprocal to a 3-prong cord, be sure the adapter is properly grounded. More modern handheld tools are constructed in a plastic case for double insulation. You always want to use non-conducting ladders. Do not use aluminum ladders because they can become hazardous if they come in contact with power lines or an electrical source. Use fiberglass or wood, and most often you're going to find fiberglass ladders. It's what's used. You got to be careful about anything that's a pressure vessel and piping. By pressure vessel, container containing high pressure gas or high pressure liquid. The pressure in the vessel increases as the temperature of the vessel increases. There's a temperature-pressure relationship. The pressure is the potential danger. Refrigerant cylinders should be stored in the upright position. Large cylinders should only be moved when the protective cap is in place. Larger cylinders should be secured to carts designed for moving the cylinders. Always wear gloves and eye protection. So again, if you have a cylinder of R22, a large one, make sure the cap is on the top protecting the valve stem. Take all precautions to prevent tanks from falling over. The valve stem can break off, and once the valve stem breaks off, the tank will actually become a projectile as it releases all its pressures. Exercise caution when working on or around electrical circuits. Uncontrolled electrical current flow can result in electrical shocks or burns. Follow lockout tagout procedures. Exercise caution when working on live circuits. Do not come in contact with energized conductors. Shock occurs when you become part of the circuit. The severity of the shock is determined by the voltage, current, and the path the current takes as it flows through the body. Current flow through the heart can be fatal. To help prevent shock, wear insulated boots and do not stand in water while working on equipment. Grounding wires provide protection from electric shock. The ground wire provides an alternative path for current to take. All tools and equipment should be properly grounded. Do not use tools that have damaged or missing ground prongs. Ungrounded tools have two prongs. One supplies line voltage to the tool and the other is neutral. If the tool becomes grounded, current can flow through the tool, through the user, and to the ground, causing shock. Grounded tools have three prongs. You have line, neutral, and ground. If the tool becomes grounded, the current will flow through the ground prong, protecting the user. If wall outlets have only two connections and the tool has three prongs, use an adapter. Plastic case tools are double insulated and often only have two prongs. Battery-operated tools are convenient and safer. Ground fault interrupters, GFCI, sense small electrical leaks to the ground. Avoid wearing metallic jewelry while working on electrical circuits. Never use a screwdriver in an electric panel when the power is on. Burns can result from electric sparks. If the screwdriver slips and makes contact between a hot terminal and ground, electric sparks can result, causing electrical shock or burn. Non-conducting ladders should always be used. Fiberglass or wood are preferred. Ladders need to be placed on level surfaces. Damaged ladders should not be used. Ladders should be free of oil, grease, and other slipping hazards. Ladders should have slip-resistant feet, and you should secure the ladder in place whenever possible. Then we have to worry about some heat-related safety issues. Torches concentrate large amounts of heat. Keep torches away from combustible materials. Always keep a fire extinguisher nearby. Use a fire shield when soldering near combustibles. Hot pipes and motors can cause burns. Working outdoors or in hot attics can cause injury. Cold can be just as dangerous as heat. Liquid refrigerant can cause frostbite. R22 boils at -41 degrees Fahrenheit at atmospheric pressure. Wear warm clothing and waterproof boots when working in cold, wet environments. Cold weather gear should be worn when working in low-temperature freezers. Now, because you're going to be working around a lot of mechanical equipment, let's talk a little bit about some safety notes on that. Rotating machinery can cause injury. Loose-fitting clothing can get caught in rotating machinery, including fans, belts, and pulleys. Never try to stop a rotating piece of equipment by hand. Jewelry can get caught on the machinery. Always use eye protection when working on or around rotating machinery. Never try to stop a rotating machine by grabbing onto the belts. When you're moving heavy objects, use the safest method to move the heavy object. Get help from others when the object is heavy. Lift with your legs, not with your back. Use hand trucks whenever possible. Pry bars and dollies can also be used. Use a back brace. When you're working with refrigerants, refrigerant gases are heavier than air. These gases displace oxygen. Avoid breathing refrigerant vapors. Use proper ventilation. And you can use special leak detectors, and alarms are required in certain applications. ASHRAE Standard 34-1992 addresses refrigerant toxicity and flammability. When working with chemicals, such as the chemicals used to clean condensers, evaporators, and other pieces of equipment. Some are used for water treatment. They should be handled according to manufacturer's directions. If you get them on your skin, in your eyes, or get them in your mouth, follow manufacturer's first aid procedures. They can cause irritation to the eyes, throat, and skin. So you want to be very careful with these. So this was just an overview of some of the safety that's important to remember. As you go through this course and once you're in the field, you really want to remember anything having to do with electrical shock hazards.